Well, running a little late, but that's not unusual. Just saying farewell to Puerto Real. Got a lot of work done on the boat. It was good. So, all ready to get out with 4 knots of breeze. Great. That'll get me there quickly, won't it? All right. Cheers, everybody. G'day, everybody. Well, the first 24 hours, I'll just read the highlights. I had to motor sail out of the Canal de Giffo, which is just up the west coast for about 7 miles. Then about 12 o'clock, a northwesterly breeze of 12 knots came in. Then that lasted for about an hour and a half, and then the wind stopped. Then at 1500 hours, it came in from the northeast at 20 knots and stayed there till about 4:30 this morning. 1600, I reefed the main. The thing that really scared me, about 2000 hours last night in the southwest, a huge lightning storm that lasted for about an hour and a half, and it got really effing close. Then at about 21:30 hours, just after the lightning, I started my nap cycle. 40 minutes downstairs, 10 minutes upstairs. Then I stay here for about 10 minutes. 04:30 this morning, the wind dropped to about 14 knots, again from the northeast. It just started picking up again, and I'm kind of hanging east of my rum line because I don't want to go too far in, not that I'm going to hit anything, I hope. But I'm off the wind a little bit. Boat's going well. I'm going well. Just had brekkie and a coffee, which was really good. So that's it for day one. Oh yeah, travelled about just under 80 miles in 24 hours. G'day everybody. It's still Tuesday. Thought I'd get into doing a report at noon based on, position and my hair's good and that sort of stuff. For those who are interested, I'm currently at shoot. The wind is east-northeast at 15 knots. My course is 150 degrees true. Saw a couple of ships on the AIS, one in front, one behind. They're about 7 miles away, so no big deal. And I had a 2-hour nap earlier this morning, which was good. So I will start doing noon reports. G'day everybody, it's June 1st, just after noon. I'll report on the last 24 hours, and I apologise for reading this out, but I just ramble if I didn't. Current wind is about 10 to 12 knots. It's easterly, thank goodness. And the distance over the last 24 hours, I am absolutely ecstatic about, 105 nautical miles. I have never done that distance before. Yesterday afternoon, I had a couple of ships pass me, actually at the same time, one in front, one behind, but they're a fair way away. Did a bit of tinkering and a lot of naps yesterday afternoon, and then last night I kind of went 1 hour off and 5 minutes on, and then early this morning I sort of went for about 2 hours, so that was good. On the food front, I hate instant coffee, but trying to cook on a 45-degree angle to port is not easy. But I had a really cool dinner last night. It was pasta that I made and for those who know, Crocus Hill recipe. Thank you. And then eggs and spinach this morning. So that's about there is all to report. Skies are a little cloudy now, but I'll stop rambling and give you another report tomorrow. Cheers, everybody. G'day, everybody. It's June 2nd. This is the noon report for the last 24 hours. Happy birthday, Pete. Good friend. Anyway, current noon west, which puts me about 195 nautical miles northeast of the Turks and Caicos. So I travelled the last 24 hours 88 miles. The current wind conditions are 10 knots from the southeast, which is good. Boat speeds running between 4 and 5 knots. And thank goodness for the Antilles current, which is a current that runs sort of south from the southeast through towards the US. Not too sure what it is though, the speed. All right, major events for the last 24 hours. About 1400 hours yesterday afternoon, the wind dropped to about 7 or 8 knots, but it picked up to about 10 at 08:30 this morning. I reefed the main last night, just putting one reef in it, just to reduce the flapping a little bit. At 1700, I had a saltwater bath on the foredeck, and then I went downstairs to the head to rinse off with a freshwater shower, to rinse the salt water off, and jammed my finger in the door and the head, and it hurt. It didn't break any skin or anything, but the nail's going black. 0900 this morning, the Duncan Island, which is a cargo ship, crossed my bow. Well, there's the Duncan Island. It's a cargo ship, about 600 feet long. I don't know if you can see it. Called him up, spoke to the radio operator, asked if he had a weather report, and he said no. I was like, oh, fuck you. I mean, don't worry about it then. Culinary events for the last 24 hours. I made a fajita last night, and I had put some chickpeas in it, which were left over from another meal, and it was all laid out, all ready to start. And the locker just above where all the stuff was laid out came open, and a bottle of Worcestershire sauce fell down and hit the container of chickpeas. They went everywhere. So I thought, I'm going to have an extra glass of wine with this one, which I did. Breakfast this morning, that was pretty good. Cereal, toast, coffee. I also made some hash browns, some hash for another day. The biggest pain about doing all that is that the cooking part, that's not too bad, but it's the dishes afterwards. Doing dishes at 45 degrees is not bad. Okay, good morning. Dishwashing at 45 degrees. There's the dirty dishes. There's the two sinks. Now, I know we all have different processes of washing dishes and all that shit. But anyway, when the boat's on an angle, the drains don't necessarily drain out. So you end up with all this gross water. So I do the dishes in the bucket. That's a bucket of salt water, and then I rinse it with fresh water. That way it conserves the fresh water. And of course, they say joy's the only one that'll ladder. That's not true. But I just need to show you, this is my process. But you don't get to actually see it and happen because I don't have a camera that I can clamp to anything. That's fun. Anyway, that's it for the last 24 hours. Cheers to everybody, and we'll speak again tomorrow. G'day everybody. Friday, June 3rd. Yeah. Current position. That made me do for the last 24 hours 65 nautical mile. Not very good. The current conditions, the winds from the south at about 7 to 8 knots. Looks like I'm out of the trades. All right, the major events in the last 24 hours. I'm out of the trades. My port water tank, fresh water tank leaked, and I noticed that because that's where there's a little locker next to it, next to the tank, where I put my lamp oil, and I had to refill the lamp oil and saw all this water and tasted it. Was fresh water. Well, I just had an interesting exercise. I stow some of my remaining electrical tools in a bucket in there. There's the bucket. Also, I stow my lamp oil, of which I go, oh, I'll fill up my lamp. So I opened this up to get the lamp oil out, and there was probably a half a litre water in there, slushing around. I then looked at the inspection hatch, and that nut there wasn't there. So water, as the boat rolls, water was leaking out into there, but staying in there, not going into the bilge and getting pumped out. So I seem to remember something in the past about not having a nut there and didn't worry about it, or some stupid thing, stupid me. But anyway, I think I've solved the problem now. I put a nut on it and it's okay. And of course I checked the other water tank on the other side, and all the nuts are there and they're all tight. So that was a nice 45-minute work after my afternoon espresso and seeing a whole bunch of dolphins. So that's a little story for the afternoon. Crazy winds last night, like 0 and change in direction. So did a lot of course adjustments, and the wind vane, it's pretty tough to get it set correctly for dead downwind, but I finally got it. Woke up a few times last night, nothing really happened, just went back to bed. I passed a vessel, the Tug Aware, at about... That is Tug Aware, towing a big container barge. They're heading for San Juan, Puerto Rico, and they gave me a very good weather forecast of 10 to 15 knots, southeast winds. There is a depression coming over Florida, but that should miss us by the time, well, at my speed anyway. And he said, oh, we'll probably see you on the way back there going to the Delaware River. So that would be fun. But yeah, nice guy. Appreciate the information. You may be able to see I've got a wing on wing at the moment. Mainsail's going out one way and staysail's going out the other. Getting a preventer to hold that out, hold the staysail out, was a bit tough. I need to do some work on that to get a better tie down point. And of course, the most exciting part, my culinary events for the evening. Last night, I had the pasta dish again. It was easy. I got 4 more servings of that, but it's really good pasta. And breakfast this morning, a couple of fried eggs and baked beans on toast, which the baked beans were great, but I overdid the fried eggs, which that sucks. Okay, here's cooking at 45 degrees. Coffee, that's done. So I've got to put it there because I've got no cup holder. There's the kettle. Baked beans, cook those. I haven't had baked beans for, well, that's the second round. There's the eggs. Note the egg rings. And here's the most useless toaster in the world. It works, but the bloody problem is it takes a millennium to cook the toast. And guess what? When you're short on gas, that's not good. So go reinvest in another one, a different one. But anyway, so with all this, and this is calm at the moment. We're not rolling that much. But anyway, I just thought I'd share that little deal with you. See you later. Anyway, that's about it. All going well, I'm going well. And that's about it. We'll speak to you tomorrow. Cheers.